Hello and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
I'm Will.
And today we have a wonderful episode for you. Now, what happened?
It's the way that Will was like, I will, after like a really long pause.
Oh my
Will
god!
always takes so long to say his name.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think too much about my voice. I hate it.
Boy, you got like the most deepest Barry White voice on here.
Oh,
At least you don't
please.
sound like me speaking in like 3 different octaves higher than like my actual speaking voice, because I'm trying to sound energetic. But you are actually, like you over here sound like you. Well, I mean, you are a grown man, but still, like you got your grown man like deep, sexy voice going on. Like I'm Will. I'm over here hosting, the midnight talk. Time to get in your panties. I'm not okay, whatever. But anyway, like you over here got the deep voice going on. So it's a nice comparison. It's nice contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you
again.
wearing me out. You wearing it out. Anyway,
I know.
you overstaying your welcome. But no, today we really do have a fun episode for you. What we talking about?
Oh, wow, my friends, I tell you, just yesterday, Sierra Hannah has a movie at launch on Apple, on Amazon Prime. It's called The Stars Fell on Alabama. It is one of those stories where this guy needs to meet his family, and he told him he had a girlfriend, but he really doesn't. So he hires Sierra's character, Madison Bell, I want to call her name. Anyhow, he hires her as his girlfriend, but you know how the story goes. They fall in love. This cheesy ending.
And also, Christiane had another child.
Mm-hmm.
She had a baby
Gigi,
girl.
Guinevere, so adorable. I actually low-key love that name, Guinevere. So adorable. Oh, so stinking cute. And I'm shook she was pregnant this whole time, and she did a really good job of keeping it a secret. Such
Yeah,
a
she
good
didn't
job.
post anything.
I
Well,
was gonna say
anything
that
recent,
she didn't
I
post
guess.
nothing. Yeah, like she didn't post anything recent. It was like, oh, okay. I
Well, no,
mean,
she
homegirl
posted
just kind of
stuff.
dropped off the grid.
Mhm. Well, no, she did post some stuff. She mostly like like stories versus like posts. And it was mostly stories of her son from behind and parenting like tips or like things that like she experienced that she never thought she would do or say to her children. One of the things that she said that I thought was really kind of interesting, because I didn't know where she was going with this. But basically she was like, I promised myself I would never say this to my kid, but I did. So I guess her son must have said he was afraid, and she told him not to be afraid. And she realized that was wrong, because she didn't want to say that just because you're a guy that you can't be afraid.
Mhm.
So she was like, I should have said it's okay to be afraid. I'm afraid sometimes too, or whatever it was that she ended up saying. It was a really long read. I don't know why I even read the whole thing, but I did.
I mean, if you're a stalker, just say that, Lena.
Shut up. You know you love it. So anyhow, she did post it. She just didn't post on her actual Instagram, but she did post it in her story. So she's like, low key active here and there. But that's okay. That's neither here or there. Moving on. If you guys haven't seen it yet, but I did post the little trailer on our Insta. It is called Bling Empire, that follows LA's richest. So think of Crazy Rich Asian, but a reality version of it. What? Guys, like, I'm already blown away. But the only reason why this is so relevant to us is there's a girl in there. She's one of LA's richest and Asian richest. Is actually Andrew Gray's. I'm not sure if they're still together, but Andrew Gray's partner, I want to say. Like, I don't know if they're still together or not, because there was a clip where they got into a massive fight and she literally said, "Am I single yet?" Question mark. So I guess I'll have to watch the show and find out. It's getting released January the 15th So that's
My
exciting. I know what I'll
birthday.
be doing. I know, yeah, that's right. There you go. Well, something to do since there is nothing
Right.
else to do.
Right.
I mean, happy birthday. Happy
Right?
birthday to
Bling
you.
Empire. Right. But yeah, I personally am really excited just because I did really like Crazy Rich Asians. And I love watching crazy rich people do crazy stupid shit and spend all their crazy money. Why not? I would never be able to spend that kind of money, so I might as well live vicariously through them and watch them spend all their crazy stupid money because they have so much of it. But the last news I have for the day, y'all, y'all. Do you guys remember Power Ranger playback with Catherine and Nikita?
Mhm.
Well, guess what? They're coming through another channel. They are launching their Super Chat podcast where they essentially talk about a lot of things. Like they're going to be talking about the real lives as mothers, actress, producers, wives, ordinary women, experiencing trials and errors and all that fun stuff. So that's what they're going to be all about. They're going to give us the tea on what's like to be Nikita and Catherine. So that's really exciting. They haven't given us a date when they're launching it, but I'm sure it'll be coming real soon. But yeah, so something to look forward to. We got a new podcast, a new reality TV show, a new movie to watch. So a lot of entertainment all around. And of course, there's us. There's
And a
us.
new baby. You forgot the baby.
Oh yeah, right. But see, the baby doesn't really add any value to our current moment right now. So the
I
baby
mean,
doesn't
but
get the extra mention, you know.
but I mean, you know,
But I guess,
he's a little new. He's a
I
little
mean,
newish.
she's cute. We're never gonna see her face because, like, Christiane is never gonna post her, just like her son. So Mateo, we know their names, but we just never see their faces. And I mean, this is not a judgment towards her. Don't get me wrong. They all of us, including ourselves included, have our own preferences and how we want to do things. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's cool that she wants to keep this private. She wants to keep this for her, and that's great. I guess she's just trying to protect her kids in her own way, and there's nothing against that. So don't think of it as a negative takeaway from this. But yeah, we're never gonna see their faces. So but the baby got way more minutes out of this than we wanted.
Listen, babies deserve all the things, even though they look like aliens. They deserve all the things, okay?
Wow.
Well, one thing I will say though, I don't understand how these influencer actress or whatever be looking fine when they're pregnant. Like the fudge, they be looking so good. I would never. I don't think I'll ever be. I don't even look like that, and I'm not even pregnant. I look like crap. Like how
Oh
it's so nice.
God.
I don't understand. Like, did you all
Listen,
see Christiana's coming up video on her baby? Like, she was posting a whole series of like I guess every month that she was pregnant. And I'm going, how do you look flawless while growing an entire human inside you? And they took a photo of her after she just gave birth and she looked flawless. The fuck?
listen,
Fuck. Sorry. My little rant.
listen. Money is everything.
No kidding.
Hello now. But
No
yes.
kidding.
Well, along with money and just looking flawless, we are actually going to be talking about whether the Disney era was flawless or was it not flawless.
Ooh, segue.
Segue. Hey, like how I did that, ain't it? That was real cute.
That was good. That was good.
That was good. That was good. That was good. You like that?
Mhm.
I did that. But no, so we're gonna be talking about the Disney era this time, you guys. So we're gonna be talking about all of our favorites, from your Ninja Steel, Jesus Christ, Ninja
Right.
Storm, all the way up. What's out? We ain't talking about that. Ninja Storm all the way up until RPM. Now, I have a question for y'all. I really do. I have a question for y'all. Out of out of your favorite seasons of the Disney era, if you had one particular episode for each one, like, and you don't have to go like deep into it, but if you had like your own, like a particular episode that you really liked from each season of the Disney era, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it'll have to be the RPM, the last episode. Destiny.
Oh yeah,
Savior,
that
I think it's
ending
called.
was really good. Yeah,
That ending was really good. So that would
that
be
ending.
that for me.
Yes.
Just love. I just love it. It really gave me the whole in space turbo, like Zeo, you know, like remember the ending of each one of them where like we really felt the danger, we really felt like things were gonna end, and then of course like they make it through and they protected the earth and they survived. But we all obviously know that was gonna happen, but it's just the way they did it that really made you go, oh no. Oh,
Right.
no.
Good writing.
No, it was great writing. It was great writing. And like the thing I loved about that ending specifically was that literally they dropped the entire tower on Vengeance. Like that to me is like, if that is not like Die Hard, like I was like, yo, you dropped a whole building on this cat and he still ain't dead. Like that is insane. Like, yo.
I mean, it's kind of hard to crush something that's not exactly a being per se. You know, like he's
a virus. Yeah.
Right.
He's a virus,
right.
so it's.
But still,
man.
that's
They tried.
hardcore though. I mean, they destroyed his body. They destroyed his body.
They tried.
But the virus just moved from one place to another. But at least they destroyed his body.
And they did, and they also wiped his memory because remember when he came back for Beast Warfare, he didn't actually knew who he was.
Well, no, he knew who he was.
Did he?
No, he knew
I thought
he was.
He didn't. I thought he was like slightly confused at first, and then.
Oh no, like he knew who he was. He was trapped up in Scott Morford, and then when whatchamacallit had tested the DNA, yeah, when Nate tested the DNA and stuff on him, that's when he turned into a snake. And that's when he made himself called Evox at that point.
I wonder why.
But I don't
I don't know.
Story wise, they didn't explain it, but I mean, TV show wise, I mean, they wanted to try to make it like a big, like, surprise,
right?
It's the same guy,
right?
You know.
Okay,
but show
I guess
wise,
just the way they played it.
Yeah, okay. Show wise they did.
I guess the way they did made me think that he lost his memory. Maybe he just knew he was evil. That's what I understood. That he just knew he was evil. That he wanted to take over the world. And I just thought maybe he was like, oh, I think my name is Ebox. Let's go with Ebox. Sounds like a great name.
I think that just because Nate added like the morphin grid energy with morphin grid, the Morphex with the snake DNA, he was just like, "Ooh, I got this new stuff on me. I'm going to give myself a new name. I'm going to rebrand myself, like, new and improved."
Right?
It's like, hey girl, hey, I'm new. New phone, who this?
Right, exactly. New phone, who's this? I'm dead. Oh
my god. Well, what would be your episode that you really like out of like the Disney era?
Was it Thunderstorm?
Ooh, you talking about a 2-part episode between Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm?
And Dino. Yes. Oh my god, I hate all these dinos and ninjas. Oh my god, Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder.
And Dino Thunder team up. Oh, that was such a good episode.
Yeah. It's gonna be so hard, like listing off seasons because they keep reusing words. Oh, but yes.
You can never mix up Ninja Storm and Ninja Steel. We all know Ninja Steel was not.
I do it all the time. I know.
I don't know how you do.
Obviously, I know the difference, but I know what the seasons are. But there's 2 seasons called Ninjas. It's like confusing.
And they're both in S, like Ninja, and it's like Ninja. So it's like Ninja Storm or Ninja Steel. It's like, come on, man. Are you really trying to confuse us on purpose?
Oh God.
They're hoping that we're getting old so that we would maybe
They ain't thinking
have
about
amnesia
us.
some sort.
Clearly.
I don't know.
I mean, they definitely ain't thinking of us. That's the thing. They ain't thinking of us. But that Thunderstorm episode was so good. Like one of the best parts for me in that entire episode was like one of the best parts for me was the part where they ended up meeting and they had that unmorphed fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think of when I think of that episode, actually. Yeah.
It's the soundtrack in the background while they're fighting for me. Like, first of all, it's the civilian powers for me. Like, it's the two girls kicking ass for me. Like, it is everything. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like Kira and Tori, like, yo, that scene was like badass. I was like,
so badass.
Come on through. Granted, it was predominantly stunt women, but still, that's not the point. It was still bad.
So badass. Honestly, like, oh and then them two being such like powerful women in their series, because obviously they're the only woman in their series, but like them being like such strong roles. Oh, so good.
I was like, yo, like, this is what I'm talking about right here. Like, I loved it. Loved it.
I just love how when they came back, they truly felt evil. Like, you could see it in their faces. You could feel it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm Tori, I'm evil. It's like, nah, bitch, I'm evil. I'm here to cut you.
Right.
I felt that. I don't know about you, but I felt that. Like, the way they walked through, I was like, yo, I just got chills. Like, what is happening? Like, I could, like, whoa. I don't know. I felt it. It got me through my bones.
Oh my gosh. Like, I love the scene. I love the part where, like, they blow the, like, Shane comes in and he, like, does the little ninja thing and he, like, shoots the wind at everybody and he's, like, blowing everybody away inside of, say, Haley's cyberspace. And, like, Connor's like, can we get you anything? A latte, perhaps? Or whatever he says. And Shane is like, I can't drink those. They have caffeine. That makes me hyper. I was like, I can't. This is great. This is wonderful. Like, the writing is so freaking awesome. I was like, oh my God. Oh, these jokes are great. They're so great. But like, I guess for me, one of my favorites out of the Disney era for me, and you might actually be like, really, Brandon? The fuck? You might actually say that.
As long as you don't say Operation Overdrive or Mystic Force, I think we're good.
Girl, I am gonna say that.
Which one?
So, okay, so do you guys remember the Dark Wish from Mystic Force?
Mm-hmm.
Like that I think it's like the 3-parter.
Are you saying this because this is how we came to be? This is how we got our name? Oh my God.
That's exactly why I'm saying that. Like, it was something about that episode. I am so sorry, y'all. It is something about that episode.
No, that was a good ass episode.
I loved it. I
forgot that episode existed.
I truly loved it. Like, I was like,
good episode.
It really was, because the way they set it up, like the way, like, one thing I'm not gonna lie. That episode, like the way they were telling the story all the way up until that point, it was like they were definitely setting up for this. And I love the fact, story-wise, the way it was written, I love the fact that they were literally like setting the Dark Wish up to the point where it was like you could almost kind of tell that they were justified in feeling the way they were feeling, where they were like, look, we've been fighting all this time. Like, just use Genji. I'm tired. Like, we got this magical ass genie sitting right here. We got to always wait to call him. Why? Just call him, shoot him, and call it a day. Like, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? So I get them just wanting to be lazy with it. I get it. And like I sympathized with them because I was like, yo, they really are fighting like 3 and 4 monsters an episode. Like these mugs are tired. Like hell, I'll be the same way. But like I just really liked the way they did that. It was really cool. I was like, oh snap, I really like that. So
and you know what I also like too is that when they went to the Tribunal of Magic, they denied them like off the bat. They're like, no. I genuinely was like, wait, did they just get denied? Like you know how I guess with Power Rangers we always assume that like everybody wants to help them and like because they're doing good for the world, yada yada yada, right?
Right.
But I love how the Tribunal of Magic was like, nah, bitch, you messed up. You go fix it. Why are you coming to us for? It was your fault. Like, bye,
basically,
bye.
They were like, yeah, nah, we ain't helping you. Sorry. And like the black one, which I don't know why he had to be black and be like the most meanest one. Like I'm still kind of triggered by that. But like, but the black one was like, nah. Like, and they were still kind of like, well, you know, the Rangers, they're trying, you know, they're trying to be good. Like they're learning from their lesson. No. And they're like, you sure you don't want to give them their powers back? No. And it was just like, he was just like, nah, I'm not helping them. Like, I mean, he was like nah. It's a no for me. Like they threw away their powers, so we're not reversing nothing. Sorry. I loved it.
I see where he's coming from too, because he's like, yeah, but they knew the rules and they did it anyways. So this is their lesson to learn, which I completely agree with in that regards, where it's like, what, you're just gonna come to us and expect us to help us just because you messed up, even though you knew the rules. We told you that you've been told, you've learned about it. So I guess that's where he's coming from, where he's like, you knew. It's kind of like, you know, like, you know, there's a button that says do not push it unless of an emergency. And we're like, well, let's see what happens.
Right. I mean, like, he definitely had that energy. And I was just like, yo, like, I'm with him on this one. Like, I'm with him. But, like, he just kept saying no. Like, he just didn't want to help them at all. Like, nope. And I was like, well, damn, bruh. Like, you gonna help them at any point? No. Oh, okay, all right. But no.
I felt like he also was. I feel like he was also kind of hella rude because he was like, "Yo, they disturbed me for this foolishness. They disturbed me for this."
And that's the thing I loved. That's the part I loved about him. It was literally that. It was just like, y'all come rolling up in my home. You know what I'm saying? This disrupting me while in my peace. Asking for me to help you with some foolishness y'all did, and you want me to undo this? Absolutely not. Get out. Right. It's just like, like I loved it. So like for me, I don't know. Like that episode was like that actual whole, like, what was it? 3 parts, I believe. Like I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I was like,
a good episode though. I'll give you that, because I forgot how Mystic Force as a season was good, but it wasn't like a strong good, you know? So I completely forgot about that particular episode. So I have to give that one. That's a good one. I agree with that. I don't know. I feel like overall though.
That.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it in years.
Well, you got till January 31st, honey.
Right.
Get to it.
I don't know. I feel like overall though, would you say like the Disney era really brought life to this whole franchise?
You know, that's a good question, Lena. I guess for me, it told the show in a different light, I guess. Like it actually made you reimagine it in a different way while still giving you the same show. Because they really took leaps on like a lot of things. Things that I noticed Saban wouldn't do. Like, for example, the way they played, the way they did seasons like Dino Thunder. They, you know, even though it was very reminiscent to Mighty Morphin, extremely reminiscent to Mighty Morphin, I felt like they did it better, in my opinion. Like I felt like they did it better because they Yeah, because they really made it, they made it more real, for one, realistic, but still keeping the charm of Power Rangers. One of the episodes for me that just always stands out is Ethan for Bully. Ethan for Bully. Bully for Ethan. Woo, that was ugly. And Ethan for oh my god, I can't talk. A bully for Ethan. There we go. Ethan. A bully for Ethan. Yes, that episode stands out to me because it's like it deals with bullying, obviously, but it also shows that Ethan isn't that boy that's like, oh, I'm gonna let you just jump all over me, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of stand there looking dumb. You know what I'm saying, after the bully done bullied him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna do that. Like he's gonna talk his shit. And I was like, yo, like I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you bullying me, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you want to talk junk? I can talk junk too. And I can make you look stupid. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. Like I love that about that episode.
I love how he stood up for himself.
Right.
He tried to prove his point. And he's trying to understand, like, why are you bullying me? Like, what is it about me that triggers you so much? And that's what I liked about it too. It's like, instead of running away from the bully, instead of having the bully constantly, do this, he's like, well, why are you doing this? Let's talk.
Right. Like
Let's
he actually
like, have a cup of tea.
Like he gives it back to him. Like he actually, and that's what makes it worse. Honestly, that kind of makes it worse on his end. But still, like he still just didn't like let the guy just sit there and just like throw him into a garbage can. Yeah.
I think what I liked about his character too is that he was confident in who he was.
Right.
That for me was key. He was so confident in who he was. Like even right from the beginning when Connor met him. And he's like, what do you do? He's like, what I do is way more important than what you do. What, you kick around a ball all day? Anyone can kick a ball. Something along those lines. I remember that. It was hilarious.
Like they read each other for filth. And it's like, and I love that. Like
I appreciated that.
I really
I appreciated the fact that Ethan's character, he was a quote unquote nerd, quote unquote geek, but we usually didn't see characters like that portrayed as being confident in who they are and cool. Like he was really like just a regular dude that was confident in who he was, and he just happened to be smart. And we I guess maybe a decade before that, maybe I can't right now. I can't really remember 2000 shows right now, but I know definitely in the 90s, anytime you see a nerd, it was like super stereotypical and it fit a certain archetype. With the glasses and the high waters and the suspenders, and they're scared of everything. And the Ethan was not that at all.
Not that at all. Like he wasn't even close. And like
I
really
liked
enjoyed
Ethan.
That. Me too. Like Ethan was such a good character. And I'm just like, that episode always stands out because it's just like, yo, Ethan wasn't taking no shit from nobody. He was just like, he was making dude look dumb. And the thing is, what I really enjoyed about the episode too, one thing that really made me go, yo, like this season really, like the way Disney is handling this, Disney is really like exploring like the character side. And that's one thing I really liked about the Disney era, is that they weren't afraid to show the characters and their relationships among each other. Because in this episode, Connor has his friends, Ethan has his friends, Kira has her friends. Most of the time, they never actually ever show the characters interacting. You know what I'm saying? Like, they never really showed the characters like interacting, like if they have their own social circles. Like, they never really show them interacting with them. Whereas with Dino Thunder, even though Ethan was like dragging old dude, Connor was still standing there like trying not to break character because he's still like, these are his boys. So it's like, yo, like, I'm not gonna like jump on your side to, you know what I'm saying, defend you because these are my boys over here. But at the same time, you my homie. So I'm still gonna try to back you up, but still I have my own social circle. So it was like there's a whole lot of stuff at play. And I love the fact that Disney wasn't afraid to they wasn't afraid to go there. You know, like they just weren't afraid to do it. And I'm like,
feel like they
I really appreciate it.
I really do. And I feel like with Disney as a whole, like when I took my break and I came back, I'm not gonna lie, I was really shook by how Disney handled this whole thing, you know, and watching every single episode and just seeing each development of each character in each of these series that they had under their wing. And you're absolutely right, they're not afraid. And I feel like each character, each episode was built on that character versus like with the Mighty Morphin, there was never anything that was carried over. It was just sort of like a storyline per storyline per storyline per storyline. You know, like you're like, oh, where did those random skills that Kimberly learn? Where she, you know, learned how to sign language one episode, next episode she doesn't, and then next episode she's a flower girl. Then the next episode she's not, and you're like, what?
Right. Next, so she knows how to fly a plane.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't have any arc. They didn't really have any arcs in Mighty Morphin, like besides, you know, like Green with Evil or Tommy losing his powers. They didn't really have any arcs for each character.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean that was like a tradition that just carried all the way through, honestly, until Space. To really be honest with you, like, I mean, Space was when they actually learned how to write a show. But before that, it was extremely episodic. And, you know, you really, I always try to think, I'm like, if the Saban era had the same things, like they did the same things, but wrote it in the same way that the Disney era wrote their shows, I guarantee you, I feel like we would have gotten so much more character-focused episodes, and we would have learned a lot more about, especially the original three, like Jason, Zach, and Trini. I feel like we would have learned a lot more instead of just the standalone, just random episodes of the day type of situations, you know? And don't get me wrong, like Disney did definitely shortchange some of their characters too. Like some of their Rangers, they definitely shortchanged. Like if we really want to talk about it, we can talk about it. I mean, Operation Overdrive, Ronnie Who.
Yeah.
Ronnie Who. You know what I'm saying? Like no shade to Caitlin because she did her thing, but baby, Ronnie Who, like the girl did not exist, honey. Like, I mean, she had a couple little standout episodes, but other than that, I mean, she was just the girl who liked to drive race cars and who was extremely competitive. And that annoyed a lot of people, apparently. Like, I mean, I wasn't really annoyed, but apparently that triggered a lot of people. Yeah.
Really? Oh,
yes,
I'm
honey.
surprised. I was not annoyed
honey.
at all. I thought she was fine because, like, it makes sense. I mean, she is a race car driver.
Right.
You have to be competitive to win.
To me, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, I mean, that doesn't annoy me, but apparently it did.
Why are people triggered by this? Did they specify? Did they go into depth?
Well, girl, you know, people don't go into depth on these things.
Well, I know, I'm just saying. You're gonna put a statement out there. You figure there would be like a story time with that.
Girl, now we run a whole page. How many times you seen people actually go into detail on the reason why they don't like something?
This is true. Well, they only go into details if they really want to prove you wrong.
Right, and that's the only time. And then you have to actually interact with them and actually have that happen. So most of the time, it's like they just throw out blanket statements like, "Oh, this is terrible." Okay, why?
And you're like, yeah, why?
It's like, okay,
right.
You know. So I mean, I've seen that happen a couple times with her. It was just like randomly online. It's just like, oh, I hate the fact that she's so like competitive. Blah blah blah. It's like,
I mean, that is a character trait.
It's the character trait. Like, she's competitive. I mean, like I said, I personally didn't have an issue with it, but my only issue with the character was that she just didn't hardly do nothing, and she didn't have a solo morph, which I was like, that's messed up.
I never noticed.
She didn't have a solo morph.
I haven't watched that season.
You haven't noticed it
exactly.
So long, so. You're further proving Brennan's point. Ronnie, who?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy some of the things that you're talking about. Whenever we figured out a topic for this episode, I literally was thinking about that when I thought about Overdraft, because I only liked Will and Rose and Spencer the butler, and that was it.
Oh, and Spencer was the show.
When I was thinking about Ron, I was like, oh, she didn't do anything.
Well, it's not her fault.
I mean, it's not her fault, but that's what she didn't do nothing for me.
I don't know. I feel like Operation as a whole, a lot of characters were sort of being shifty. Like they would give a lot of attention to one character and then none, and then they would try to reverse it. I don't know. They were just all over the place on whose character they want to focus on. That's what I found. Mm-hmm. There's like all over the place, and like you know what I will say about Operation Overdraft, it was a very interesting storyline. We haven't got anything like that before, and it was like such a plot twist that I did thoroughly enjoy that season as by itself, like as the scene by itself. I really enjoy that. I enjoy the Red Ranger being like a whole robot. I really did not see that coming when they exposed that. I was like, what?
Like when they put that spin on it, it was like, yo, I was like, literally my mouth dropped. I was like, yo, that is not real. This is not real life.
What? Did I just see this? Did I just hear this right? Like, what the fudge is happening? I don't know. That was me. Like, that was a good spin. I really like that. I truly like that. And I like how they had, I can't remember what's his name, that snowman looking dude. I liked how he's on the evil side, but he's not
talking
evil
about
at all.
Norg?
Norg, yeah, I hated him.
I loved him.
My god.
Are you serious? You like
Norg?
My
god. When he would slide down the ice slide, I wanted to like kick him in the face.
You're so mean. I loved him.
That was really mean.
I genuinely loved him. I don't know. I guess like I don't know something about him. I just liked him. I really liked how he carried himself, and even though he was stupid, but he wasn't stupid. He was so stupid he just didn't realize how smart he was. I don't know. Like I personally like the character, and I like how.
I feel like we found that out in like the last episode, right?
Found what out?
That he wasn't as stupid as we thought he was.
Oh no, he definitely was stupid, but like his stupidity actually helped. Like he was dumb, but he wasn't like he had a good heart. Like he thought that he was helping.
He didn't belong. He didn't
belong with the bad guys. Like he only really helped them only because like he thought that they were like his playmates. Like he thought that they were like his friends.
Yeah.
And in actuality, when he actually figured it out, it was like, yeah, you guys aren't my friends, so I'm not gonna help you.
I felt so bad for him because like he was just lost, like, and he trusted the wrong people. That's what it was.
Right.
So
right, because
that's relatable.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's why I liked him, because I like the fact that like he genuinely didn't belong, but he didn't know that he didn't belong, and he thought these people were his friends because one of them was his brother, but he mistreats him all the time, and he doesn't realize that. He didn't understand that. I don't know. I think that's why I genuinely felt for him, because exactly what you said, it was relatable, and there are many of us out there who don't realize that the people that we're with, or that we that we surround ourselves with, are very toxic towards us, and we don't realize that until much later on. So I think that's why I relate so well to him, and I think that's one of the strong reasons why I really liked him, because I just felt like I can see where he's coming from and why he did what he did, and so that's the reason why I really liked him. But
no, and that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, Florius really he really liked Florius. Like he really did trust Florius a lot, and Florius was like he blindly had this like childlike love and trust for Florius. And Florius was just like, you a dummy. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Wow.
I felt so bad for him. I was like,
Now
oh
that
my
stuff you pulled
God.
in the kitchen, I should have messed you up then.
You probably have no idea what he's talking about. I have to send this. I have to send it to you, Lena, so you'll.
I'm sorry. This was probably going over a lot of people's heads right now, but it is actually a really funny joke. But anyway, it's not a joke actually.
Except it's really, really horrible. Yes,
it's a really terrible scene from a movie, but it's an inside joke. But it's okay. We're just gonna go past it. Lena, we'll tell you about it. But yeah, it's just an inside joke. But yeah, Lena, I definitely agree. It's a really relatable situation. And also too, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, at first, I could understand the shock from Mac when he found out, like he's a robot and all this stuff, and he's just like, I'm disposable. I'm the disposable one. Just let me do whatever. I understood it at first.
That pissed me
but then
off.
It got on my nerves.
Yeah, I think they made him too whiny, or they dragged him too whiny, because it was a bit much, and it got to a point where and he was like, oh, I'm disposable, and I think he didn't understand the fact that right, because he thought he could be replaced, and he didn't realize that he couldn't be replaced either.
Didn't it get in the way of his his attitude? It almost got in the way of him doing his job.
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of times. That whole part of getting towards the finale, like he literally almost literally almost got him into so much trouble. Like he went into what's the guy's name? Motor's palace, and tried to fight him head on, and the things start like erupting, and he almost about to die fighting Motor, and it's just like, and the others had to go and rescue him and save his behind. It's like, dude, like, you're making all these bad decisions and bad choices because you mad. I'm gonna need for you to go sit down somewhere. Like, it was stuff like that. Like, he was just doing dumb stuff, like just dumb stuff.
And I think
I didn't like
it was just so dumb. And I think what pissed me off was like, he was like, oh, I'm replaceable. I'm just a robot. Like, you can just rebuild me. But I think what pissed me off is like, he doesn't understand that once you reboot something, you go back to being a blank slate. You're not who you are.
You're not the same.
That.
Yeah.
You're not, like it pissed me off that he just didn't get that. And I'm like, have you ever restarted a phone or wiped a laptop? I mean, you're all tech. Like, his dad's a techie, so I don't know why he didn't understand that. I was like, what? So
like that part was really just like, ugh. But for the most part, I mean, like, I really like. I mean, there's a lot of things about Overdraft that I was just like, oh, child. But
like Dax.
No,
Dax was okay.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't okay.
He was okay.
But
like, I mean, like, he was okay in the sense that, like, I didn't really mind him. I didn't really care that he was there because he didn't really add to the story. He didn't really add to the story, but like, he definitely made an impact on everyone.
But was it a good?
He made an impact of making me like making my blood boil.
Well, I never said it was a good impact. I'm just saying he made an impact. Obviously, because you still think about it and you're still upset.
Like, oh, girl, like, he was just. Dax was terrible. He was terrible, Your Honor. Like, that character, I'm like, oh, child, who thought that would be a good idea to have him act like that? Because whoever did was just like, you need to be stopped. Whoever you are, you need to be stopped. Like, that was not a good directorial thing to do. To just have that character just act like that. I'm just like, no, this is not it. This is not it. Like, and I understand it. Of course, it's like, oh, this is a kid's show, and he had to be the hyper one and all this stuff. But oh my God, he was terrible. But yeah, but one thing I will say about Operation Overdrive, because I mean, we can talk junk about Operation Overdrive all day or the time,
Yes,
but they
yes.
did have some good stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it just seemed like every other episode, like Mac's dad, Mr. Hartford, was like, he had stuff for them almost every episode. Like, he was just like, oh, I got a new weapon for you. Oh, I got a new vehicle for you. Oh, I got, like, and he was just like, every episode, like, he was like just giving them stuff like every single time. And like, I really love that little vehicle they had, the Trans-Tech armor, I want to say that
Right,
that's
and the
little.
girl actually got to use it. That was a
Yes,
shock.
all of them did. All of them got to use it. Like, I was like, that is so freaking cool. Like, and it's
Ronnie
like this
too.
own little, yeah, like all of them got to pilot it. And it's
Hmm.
like, that is freaking dope. Like, all of them got to use it. So I really enjoyed that. And like, it was like this big car looking thing, but like, it wasn't like a Zord. It wasn't big enough as a Zord, but it was still like towering over the villains. And I'm like, that's actually kind of freaking cool. So like, I really enjoyed that. I really like that.
I have a question.
Mhm.
In hindsight, what do you feel about the 15th anniversary episode in comparison to some of the ones we've gotten since?
Once the Ranger, that
Yep.
one.
Ooh,
Yep.
child.
I love that one. I'm sorry, that was me.
Listen,
I love that.
okay, you loved it. Okay. For me, at the time,
Okay, I only
no,
loved
no,
it because of all the old Rangers. That's the only reason why.
well, no. Then and that's valid. That's valid because like, that's also another one reason why I liked it. However, at the time of its air, I despised it. I loathed
Despise.
it. I did not like it. I loathed it. I despised it. I wanted it to go away. I wanted it to burn. I was like, how dare this thing exist before my eyes? I was
my
like,
God.
I was disgusted with that episode.
Oh no.
After what we just got for the past, what, like 10 years? I'm like, that is one of the best episodes of all time.
Yeah.
That is one of the best episodes ever.
I'm dead.
Like, oh my
If
gosh,
only
when
you
you okay, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Right.
You
If
don't know
only
what you
knew.
got till it's gone. Because it's like, yo, we've regressed so far.
Dead, I'm screaming.
I was like, this show is terrible. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
So dead. Oh my God. You see? You can't take shit for granted. You can't take
Right.
shit for granted.
Right.
You
I
never
was
know.
like,
You
you
never know.
never know. You
Mhm.
never know. Like, it was like, this show is, it was like literally like, they were like, oh my God, like this 15th anniversary was terrible. And then like the 20th anniversary, what is it, the 20th or the 25th? I can't remember. Well,
I think it was the 25th.
20th.
20th.
Is it
Because that one
20th?
was
Okay.
with the that one was the Megaforce one, right?
Mm-hmm.
20th. Okay, yeah. And then the 20th anniversary was like, hold my beer. And then the 25th anniversary was like, oh, I can do better, hold my weed. And it was just like,
Oh, I don't agree with that.
I'm like, oh, is this what we're doing? Is this what we've become?
That's crazy to think. There were only 5 years in between Overdrive and Megaforce. It feels like so much longer than that.
But like, no,
Mhm.
like that Megaforce, that whole Legacy War, I swear to you, the way they built that shit up, the way they like hyped that shit up, the way they're singing from the top of their lungs, the way they're screaming from the top of the mountain. What the fuck did we get? What the fuck was that? I could have,
child.
like, what the
Trash.
shit? What? Refresh, please. Did I get on the wrong screen? Like, what is happening here? That was the worst, like, anniversary episode ever. and they be bringing, how many people did they bring back? They bring back so many people too. So many.
They really did.
And you know,
Over
like,
10 people, I think.
right? And you think that with a cast that big, they would have made it into a 3-parter. Like, y'all know how to do 3-parters. It's not unheard of.
They don't know how to do
It's
that
just bad.
anymore, it seemed like.
Well,
I
They
mean,
kind of,
seems like it.
somewhat did it this
I mean,
past season. Yeah.
right.
That was the
I
first time
mean,
in a while, I feel like.
they understand what. Okay, first of all, Saban understands what a fucking 2-parter, 3-parter, or whatever parter, because they did that with with like, you know, like Turbo, like Zeo, with In Space, with even like freaking Mighty Morphin. Like, if you want to be real, let's start with they know how to do it. So at this point, Saban brought it back. So why are you acting like you don't know how to do a 3-parter, 2-parter, or whatever? But with a cast that big, that should have been a 4-parter.
I think it's Nickelodeon, honestly, the way that they set up their seasons.
I mean,
yeah.
yes and no though. But yes and no though, because like the way they set up their seasons, right? Couldn't they still have like pushed some of the episodes that they had that was not even necessary? Like, so much of Make It Force could have been taken out. I'm just gonna be real here.
I mean, honestly, but that's if you're just talking about the show in general, that's just the creation of the show. But if you want to actually talk about like promotion, like I feel like they promoted that, like, well, it wasn't Nickelodeon promoting it as much as it was like Saban promoting it, because like they were dropping little teasers, not teasers, but like little behind the scenes pictures, like left and right. Like they were just like, yo, this is what's happening. This is who's here. Guess who's back in the suits. You know what I'm saying? Like they were really making it like, yo, we about to drop a bomb on y'all. Like it's about to be bomb. Like y'all about to be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when we got the finished product, it was like, who asked for this? I ain't asked for this. You asked for this? Like it was just like, what is this? You know, and one thing I will honestly say, and you said something really interesting, Lena, that really makes a lot of sense. You said Saban knew how to write episodes. They did before they sold it.
Yep.
Right.
Before they sold it, they knew how to write episodes. And it was just like, I mean, they wrote some of the best TV in Power Rangers history. Because I'm sorry, till this day, I don't care what nobody says. The arc with Trakina, when she became the queen after Scorpius died and she took over, I don't care. That was some of the best writing ever. Hands down. It was some of the best writing. Because like watching Trakina go on this path of becoming a complete warlord, and just like, and then she ends up like jumping into the cocoon with DVI and getting all messed up and becoming like a complete lunatic, and like basically destroying Terra Venture and almost killed everybody on it. Like, yo, like mind blowing. Like, I mean, like that's writing right there. And I mean, case in point, the 2-parter that brought in the Space Rangers, a Ranger died.
Right?
Like literally,
gone.
a Ranger got killed. So it's like they knew how to write a show, but it's like, like, do we know how to write it now? Like, you know, like what's going on? So, you know, but I will ask you guys this question though about the Disney era. I will ask you guys this. Now, a lot of people give the Disney era a lot of flack. Like a lot of people just do not like the Disney era. What do you think are some of the reasons as to why some of the fandom give the Disney era so much flack?
First off, I think that that opinion has changed a lot in the last what, 11 years.
Yeah. For sure.
However, initially I would think because of some of the tone in some of the seasons, like well, in particular Ninja Storm. Like with that one, it was really campy, and they had a lot of jokes. I remember seeing people putting Lotor on the list of one of the worst Power Rangers villains ever, and I so disagree with that.
Oh, absolutely. Lothar kicked their asses at the very end. Like, I mean, he handed it to him. Like, here's your butt.
He got me entertained all season, so I didn't agree with that at all. And then what else was there? I know before I actually, because I didn't watch a majority of those seasons when they aired, so I had seen bits and pieces, and when I say that, I mean like part of maybe like 2-3 episodes I've seen. But I had heard about like Mystic Force, Overdrive, Jungle Fury being the seasons that people really didn't like. Like tonally, some of the decisions that they made, and then it was interesting because when, like in the first half of the Disney era, it seemed like the acting had gotten a lot better. It seemed like maybe they had started hiring more straight up actors, and then in the second half, minus RPM, it seemed like the quality had kind of dropped a bit. And I don't know like what happened there. That was weird. And SPD, like not including SPD had that was probably one of the best acting casts that they've ever had. But that was weird. Like I don't know. I think from what I've heard at least, the campiness of Ninja Storm, then some of the acting and writing on seasons like Mystic Force Overdrive, Jungle Fury. Which interestingly enough, I went into Ninja Storm when I finally did, not Ninja Storm, I went into Jungle Fury just expecting the worst, and I actually enjoyed that season. I don't know, like I guess those are the reasons, but I ended up before was it Samurai started is when I got to watch all those seasons back, like literally a year before that happened, and I had fun for the most part throughout those seasons. There were only 2 that I didn't enjoy, and they were Overdrive for sure, and then Mystic Force actually wasn't as bad to me. I don't think it was necessarily good, but I don't think it was as bad as it was painted out to be. Because there were like a couple of moments there, like with the characters that I did enjoy. That's probably one that I would watch back again just to see if my opinion changed at all. But for me, well, I just gave the reason why I think most people didn't like it when they, I guess, before the Neo Saban era.
I feel you on that. Lena, what about you?
Oh, I think Will said a lot of what I was going to say too, but mainly I was just going to say I felt like a lot of people just felt like Disney wasn't Saban, and that was that. They were people are just so stuck in having what they had before, and they're not great to changes. It's kind of like the same thing with what we're going through right now with Hasbro owning Power Rangers. People were very hesitant on that at first, and I remember seeing that, and then of course now then with Toei not being part of it, then like all these changes were coming, and people were just really not loving the changes. So I don't know, I just feel like change people don't like, and they don't want to give it a chance, and that's what I mean. We've been talking a lot about this over the last few episodes when it comes to changes and stuff. people are just not willing to change with it. People are not willing to adapt. Sorry, that was the words I was looking for. People are unwilling to adapt. They're unwilling to adapt. They're unwilling to accept what is considered as new or what is considered as change, you know. And I think that was one of the biggest thing is that I remember hearing that and seeing that was that there was a change. I don't know. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the change. I was like, oh, Disney owns it now. That's kind of cool. Like that actually is really cool because Disney's a big ass company and a lot of people watch Disney. So this will be amazing change for us. This will get Power Rangers to be, you know, more popular and maybe back to where it used to be, right?
Right.
Of course, they didn't do that, but it gave us a better storyline instead, and they gave us a better team, a better act, you know, like an actual cast that could act, an actual cast that had a resume, you know, an actual cast that, yes, for some people, it's still their first job, but they knew what they were doing, you know. And so I feel like overall, I personally love the Disney era as a whole, and I never really felt that was a negative change. But obviously now people know what we got after Saban bought it back. They probably regret that comment they made. But yeah, so I just felt like overall people just weren't willing to adapt to the changes, and I feel like that was the biggest fight that they had was that they weren't willing to accept the fact that Disney was Power Rangers no longer owned by Saban, which I don't know. Like I just feel like and it was really interesting at first too. I was trying to understand why Saban didn't own Power Rangers either, because I always thought, you know, like it was Saban kind of thing, right? Like it was his baby. Of course, now we learned that his dumbass accidentally sold it to Disney. Like, how do you accidentally sell the rights to somebody else? Not. That's a whole new topic, but yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Listen, this is all about money. This is all about money, honey. It's like,
no,
you know,
remember it wasn't even about the money. Remember, don't you know what happened? He accidentally sold it. It wasn't part of their so he had drawn up a contract, but he didn't properly read it. So somewhere in the middle of the contract, Power Ranger was included. And I'm actually remember this. He was trying to buy it back, but Disney's like, nah, it's ours now. You can buy it back when we no longer want it.
Wait, what?
You don't remember this?
No. Like I always
It was in the shows that made us, or was it the toys that made us? Like, when they were doing the interview with Saban, he literally was like, "Oh yeah, like it was an accident that I sold it. It was a contract situation. I didn't realize that Power Rangers was part of the contract that I had drawn up and given to Disney. And then when he was trying to buy back, Disney was like, nah, man, it's ours now." I swear, look it up. Look, watch the episode again.
I have to watch that because I was like, I don't remember that part. But
yeah, I remember laughing really hard. I'm like, that's what happened. So then there was a scene where he was like, and then when Disney wanted to sell it, he was saying that he was ready for a bidding war. He came, he was ready.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Ready,
yeah,
right. And then no one was there. No one wanted Power Rangers, right?
Basically bought it for like nothing.
Right, and that's what happened. Yeah, like so that's how he ended up giving up Power Rangers, was by accident. He never intentionally wanted to give up Power Rangers. That was never part of his plan. He wanted to sell, I guess, the other stuff and just didn't read. You know what? You know what it is? Now that we know what kind of person Saban is, what happened was like he pulled up one of the older contracts, didn't bother reading it over, and handed it over to Disney. It was like, okay, here's a contract. Let's sign it. I think that's what happened. Yeah, watch the episode again. And for all of you listeners out there, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a show on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. And there's a whole interview with Saban on there. Black Nerd makes an appearance too. Who else makes an appearance?
Walter and David.
Walter, yes, David. Who else? I'm missing somebody. I know there was like a whole list. There was like a bunch of people that made an appearance. But it was a good watch. Definitely check it out. I can't remember which episode it was. I think it might have been like the 1st or the 5th episode. I'm sure you guys will find it. But anyways,
it was in season 3.
Yeah, it was in season 3.
Oh, was it? Okay. Oh yeah, it was in season 3. So yeah, like you know what? If we find it, we'll link it in our post again so you guys can watch it. But definitely check out the episode. It's worth watching. There's some real tea, some real sash that really happens, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just hilarious. I guess like now knowing that and knowing why Disney had it all kind of makes sense. And when people were upset, they realized that they were upset because it was a pure ass like mistake that Saban even sold it. I think that's what made it funnier. It's like, yeah.
I wanted real quick. I wanted to piggyback off of what Lena had said about the fans not accepting the change, and that's interesting because, like, being a kid watching Power Rangers, that seems like that's one of the things that they teach you to accept things that are different, and the fact that things change, because they did used to teach us lessons back in the day.
Right.
So that's really interesting that these grown ass adults watching it can't accept that things aren't the same, and that may not be a bad thing. And they also don't even give it a chance, as far as, like, it hasn't even gone into production yet, and you already complaining.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
This is not the Power Rangers I grew up watching, and you're literally only just watching like a 30-second clip. Oh my gosh, this is not it.
And you end up watching anyway.
Of course.
And not even just that, but these are also a lot of the people that never even like seen all the way through Mighty Morphin. They've never even seen probably Alien Rangers. They've probably never even seen like the transfer of power. Like some of these people legit have stopped after season 1, and some of these are the same people that are still talking. Like that's what I find. Like kind of like with the 2017 movie where the movie came out and was like, oh, that's not what I grew up with.
That shit pissed me off.
Yeah,
like you ain't even give it a chance just because it looks different.
Well, not even just that, but it's like you guys are the ones that's talking when you didn't even know there was even transfer of power.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? You don't even know there's still 20-something season of Power just still going on. What?
Yeah,
like,
a lot of people
like
know
like
it's still on.
Like I remember saying that to one customer when he was like talking to me about it. I'm like, oh, well, what's your favorite season of Mighty Morphin? Wait, there's seasons? Oh Lord, we can't have this conversation. Oh no. Mm-mm. Sorry, you need to shut up about the 2017 because you don't even have the right to make the comment right now. You have no right. I'm sorry. No. No.
Period.
Stand down. I'm sorry. Period. If you don't even know that Walter, Zach, Trini, and Jason left, if you don't even know that, no. Sit down.
Hush. But no, like, and that's the thing. It's just like, for me, one thing that I've noticed, and I'm going straight from like a show standpoint, because Will, you touched on it a bit, but a lot of people didn't like you said, the comedy of it, the comedy aspect, because I mean, we were coming from, like, I noticed there's a lot of fans. I think Wild Force cultivated a huge rebirth of fans, because there's a lot of fans unknowingly that I didn't know. I thought I for the most part, being, on Ranger board back in the day, I just assumed that Wild Force was just overall a hated season, like, for the most part. But no, like, there's a whole like world of fans who adore Wild Force. Like, I mean, they are like Wild Force stans. Like, they are like, oh my God, Wild Force is one of the best seasons ever created. And I'm like, are we watching the same show? But these are also the same people who Wild Force was their first ever Power Ranger season. So, it's like, oh my God, with like, and Wild Force did have some serious elements. So for them to go from that to Ninja Storm, where you have Lothar, with his weird, wild, crazy antics, like the I Love Lothar show, which, by the way, was one of my favorite episodes. Just him just being wild and wacky, and Mara and Capri, constantly wearing weird clothes and just doing weird
being
stuff like
wacky.
Right. Like but that was charm I loved about the show. Like I adored it. Like that was one of the things that I personally loved about the show, because Disney wasn't afraid to just actually go there. They were like, you want wild and wacky? Say less. You know what I'm saying? And they did it and they stuck with it. Whereas I feel like Power Rangers of today constantly is like, we have to be serious, but we got to add that one little beat of comedy in there just to not make the show too serious. But, just add that one little like beat of comedy. That's all you need. And it's like, if you want to have comedy, do that. If you want comedy, say that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to make the show wild and wacky, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's totally okay. You can do that, because the thing is, and this is what I loved about the Disney era, is that they did not stick to the Japanese footage. They really didn't, because Hurricaneger, if for anyone who knows Super Sentai or anything like that, or who have seen it, especially this particular season, Hurricaneger, which is Ninja Storm's equivalent, Hurricaneger was very serious. Like, it was very serious. Of course, they had like, your comedy elements and stuff, but for the most part, Hurricaneger was actually a very serious season. So for them to take literally something so serious and make it into something so silly, it was like, it was comedic gold to me. And I loved it. I love Ninja Storm for that exact reason. But a lot of people didn't like that. And another one of the things that people didn't like was the wire food and the explosions. A lot of people hated that. And I just wanted to get you guys' opinions. Like, did that take away from you guys as far as like your liking of the show? Did it elevate it? Did it, like, how did you like it? Because me personally, I loved the wire stuff, like all the wire food and flying through the air, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I loved it. Like, I'm a stan. I love it. But what about you?
It didn't bother me.
I'm with you there.
It didn't bother me too much. I remember, to take it back a bit, I think, what was it, Lightspeed Rescue? That was one of my favorite seasons for morphed fight choreography. Like, I thought that they did some really cool stuff, from the stuff with the guns to the regular fight choreography with the martial arts. So,
oh my God. Sidebar. Just, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm sorry. One of the best fights is between Dana and Ryan. That is probably one of the best, most choreographed fights I've ever seen in my life.
That was great. And I think we mentioned this before, and then to have have the Pink Ranger be able to have a fight against the big evil Ranger. That was really cool. And I love some of the stuff that Kelsey did too. But anyway, so you go from really good fight choreography, there to like the wire stuff, which was like, it didn't bother me. It was still fun. However, I could understand if somebody's maybe more of a martial arts purist, or they really like the physicality of the fight scenes. Maybe them jumping all around, like, that can kind of take away from it a bit. I don't know, but it didn't bother me really.
No, I mean, for me, I have to say, like, for me, I didn't, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed all the wire stuff. Like, I've always heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, why do they have to fly through the air so much? Why do they look like that? Why are they doing?" Like, to me, the reason why I feel like that is because they're Power Rangers. Like, if you have powers, like, of course you're gonna be able to like fly in the air and do all this crazy stuff. Granted, did it look weird sometimes? Absolutely. But and of course they did a lot of slow-mo. And that's one thing I didn't like. They did a lot of slow-mo with the explosions in the background. And that got a little tiring after a while. It's like, all right, it was cute the first couple times. Now it's like, okay, girl. So yeah, I can see that. But I don't know. For me, I that was one complaint that I've always seen a lot. Even though, and they used to call it like the Kalish explosions, but newsflash, had nothing to do with Kalish. It was more so of a Koichi thing, not a Kalish thing. But I don't know. Like, I really just, I loved just the whole aspect of them having civilian powers, them being able to do things that normal people can't. And that was like the allure of the Disney Power Rangers for me. They really showed you that, no, they're Power Rangers for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can do things that normal people can't do. And that called for a lot of wire martial arts. And I loved it. Like, I was a stand for it. Now, if you're looking at Power Rangers of today, like, you're looking at and even like your yesteryear, like your Saban era Rangers. Saban era Power Rangers use a lot of martial arts. Like, they just use standalone, like, hand-to-hand combat, rarely used any, wires or anything like that. It was very rare. Even though more and more as you started getting along down the line, like your Time Force, Wild Force, Lightsy Rescue, they started trying to use a little more wires. But for the most part, like, the wires didn't really come in until like the Disney era. But I don't know, like, I really enjoyed seeing a lot of that, and also seeing some when the explosions were used right. When the explosions were done correctly, yes, I liked it. Like, RPM did it a lot. They did, when they did explosions, they used them right. Like, it wasn't a situation of like, it's a side profile of them flying in the air, and then like the explosion is happening to the left of them. That doesn't make sense. Like, if a monster is shooting you from the front, why is the explosion happening to the side of you? Like, that doesn't make sense. It's stuff like that. Like, that kind of stuff was always kind of like, that's dumb. Like, this doesn't even look right. But yeah, for me, I just always kind of like, this is cool. Like, when they use the explosions correctly, I loved it. Which is something that I wished newer Power Rangers would do. But hell, they don't even use explosions anymore. They only do the little weird CGI explosions. I'm like, why are we doing this? But okay.
It costs way more too.
I mean, I would think it would cost more to do CGI.
That's exactly what I mean. Like, it would cost so much more, I would think.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like the actual, more like the conventional explosions, like the actual real ones, versus like the little CGI ones. I'm like, why can't we do the CGI ones anymore? Is it like that's so weird to me?
Well, I think that Disney definitely gave us some of the best Power Ranger seasons in history. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Dino Thunder, SPD, RPM, those are like some heavy hitters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely have exceeded what we've gotten in the last 11 years. That's what's up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will say this though. I will say this. Shout outs to, because there's some seasons that just don't get no love. They don't get no love from the Power Rangers fans, I feel. Like,
absolutely.
And Disney had a couple of them. Disney had a little sprinkle of them that people just are like, yeah, nah, I'm not touching you. Like Jungle Fury. I don't know what's the beef with Jungle Fury, but people just really wasn't feeling it. And I'm like,
I love Jungle Fury.
I could have sworn you said you didn't like it.
I mean, listen, after rewatching it, I was like, you know what? This season ain't half bad. But of course, this is also trailing after 11 years worth of crap.
Right, that's what I was just about to say. Brennan's like, this is after all the shit that we've been through and all the shit that we've been receiving. I'm not gonna lie, I like it now.
I like it. Oh my God. Like,
but the thing is, really quick, Lily's morphed fights. She was like my favorite Morph Ranger that whole season. She went in on those fight scenes.
And the punching? Yo. Yes. I agree. Like, oh my gosh. Like the Oh gosh, you're right, Will. Like Lily's fight scenes were dope. And it's like, of course, she always used that like she's using the punches and stuff. But then like also too, like she was very nimble. So like she'll be punching and then all of a sudden she'll like do like a freaking butterfly twist flip and then like just start like wowing out. It's like, yo, like she was insane. Like, oh my gosh. Like I freaking like after rewatching it, because of course, like I said, I haven't seen it in, years. And after sitting there and after actually rewatching it again, one thing I will say though, I will say to your testament of you saying like, oh, I thought you didn't like it. I will say this. It's not that I like it because I still have my feelings about it. Mm-hmm. But I respect it more because of what we've gotten thus far. And also, like, I do kind of feel like I was a little unfair to certain characters. Now I still feel the way I do about Theo because Theo was Theo got on my nerves. But Casey, I was a little too hard on him. I mean, it was justified, but I was a little too hard on him. Because to me, Casey just always came off whiny, and he was just like he was very whiny, like very whiny. Even at the end, when everybody became masters and he didn't, he had this whole like, oh man, oh, like it was just like, dude, I thought I thought you grew up. Like, I thought I thought you manned up, but apparently he didn't. But it was some of that, but like like I said, I was a little too hard on him, but I grew to like lighten up a little on him. But for the most part, I'm like, you know what? They're not all bad. Like the show itself wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as I remembered it. I remembered it to be.
What's her name? Camille was still one of my favorite parts of that season. I thought she was freaking awesome.
First of all, her outfit. I want that outfit, and I want to wear it for Halloween. I don't care what no one says. I think I would look bomb in that outfit. Like, I want it. And I'm not just the one that she had when she first got there. I want the one that she was wearing when she got the Renshi power, when she got the power of the, what was that? The Phoenix that she got? Was it a Phoenix or a Peacock? I can't remember. But I want that outfit, the one with the gold. Like, I want that. Cause I'm like, yo, that outfit was fierce. I was like, yes, honey, you better work. I loved it.
You know what I realized? We haven't spoken about SPD at all.
Ah! Well, we did kind of touch SPD a little bit. We said it was one of the best shows, the best seasons.
Definitely. But other than that, it's just saying. But now, can we rank it in our opinions? Which one we thought was like the best? Well, not the best, but like the best in our eyes. Like if you were to sit down right now and do like a Power Juice marathon, and you have to do the seasons in the order, all the seasons. Wow, I can't even speak. What seasons would you start with, and which season would you end with?
Oh well, I think RPM would be number one.
Thanks.
Dino Thunder, SPD, Ninja Storm, and then Jungle Fury, Mystic Force, Overdrive. And Overdrive is like way down there.
Wow. Dang, Will, that's kind of messed up. If I had to choose mine, I would choose RPM, obviously. RPM would go first. Dino Thunder, Ninja Storm, SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, Operation Overdrive.
Ooh, my list is similar to yours. Mine would be RPM, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, and then Operations Overdrive.
Oh wow! So you just switched on not Wild Force. Jesus Christ! Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting.
Really
so you
close.
preferred Dino Thunder over Ninja Storm. Interesting.
Ninja Storm over Dino Thunder.
Real quick. You did mention you Brandon, you accidentally just said Wild Force. Just for any like super duper accuracy people out there, we do know that Wild Force technically is Disney partially. We do know that, but I didn't want to talk about that season, so that's why we didn't mention
it. Right. This is very true.
Yeah, this is so true. Yeah, there's a whole discussion on it, guys. A whole discussion where Will tried really hard.
Okay, he was just like, I don't want to talk about this. And we're like, okay. But no, like, what were you saying? Anything? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say like because we were talking about like Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. So the reason why I prefer Ninja Storm over Dino Thunder, not because I feel like Ninja Storm is a better storyline. I actually prefer. Wow, what am I speaking? Prefer Dino Thunder over Ninja Storm, but the reason why is because Ninja Storm came out first, and I remember how much I loved Tori's character and how much I wanted to be her because I thought she was so cool. And I guess like overall the whole season in itself with the the Thunder Brothers and all that stuff like really got me drawn into Power Rangers and really brought me back to Power Rangers in that aspect. And so I think that's the reason why I would choose it over Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder, I only liked it after I came back to Power Rangers after taking like a massive break. So that's the reason why I would do it in that order, just for more nostalgia purposes versus that I think, this is better versus that. But yeah, that's my reasoning.
I feel you. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, like for me, like it's difficult for me to choose like between Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder because like for me, both of them I love for different reasons. Like I mean, like Ninja Storm, the campiness was just like I can turn on Ninja Storm and just cackle all day. Just like watching, just like listening to some of the jokes or like listening to Lothar just like completely rag on Zurgane. Like, I mean, just listening to just a lot of the jokes were just hilarious. And it was very comedy, it was very comedic focused, or comedy focused, I guess you would say, with the villains versus, with like the actual Rangers when you get to Dino Thunder. On Dino Thunder, the jokes were mainly coming from the Rangers, not so much from the villains. So right. So, like they were almost kind of like two different shows, but they both kind of executed almost the same thing at the same time. So for me, like for me, it's interchangeable. Like between Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder, like I would definitely like flip flop between the two, depending on what I want to see.
That's fair.
But for the rest of them, I'm like, this is definitely your order.
Yeah,
but those two for me are interchangeable.
Yeah, for the rest of them, it's just like, yeah, well, you're in your place. You know what they are.
Right. So yeah, but all right, well.
Before we go, I wanted to mention something only because it happened to me. So I just want to make sure that I obviously share this and hopefully no one falls for it. Y'all remember the late Pua? Him and his friend Salah has a page called SNP Show. And Salah is actually keeping that page quite active with cute posts over the years. I guess they filmed together all the stupidness, all the crackling jokes that they have. It's actually quite funny. But anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because someone has actually gone and made a fake account that's almost identical to the original one. And they actually DM me say, congratulations, I have won $5,000. And of course, I didn't fall for it. but I just want to give you guys a warning out there not to fall for it either, because it does look quite legitimate in the sense that they have literally copy the original page post per post, and almost down to the T, that almost looks identical. The only difference is that the original, the official page have like a lot more followers versus obviously the fake account. But anyways, I just want to give you guys a heads up not to fall for it, not to click on it. And apparently this person's getting very like aggressive and kind of like telling people to register right away, otherwise they won't get that money and all this stuff. And some people were like writing back, being like, I know it's fake, whatever, but they're getting like really aggressive with the people that were responding. So I just want to give you guys a PSA with respect to, of course, the late Pua and his friend who's trying to keep this page running for memory's sake, to not fall for this $5,000 prize. It's not real. I know you guys know better, but just because it happened to me, I figure, you know what, it could be happening to a lot of other fandoms as well too, because we're following each other, and they could be looking through our pages and sending you a message as well too. So yeah, just say PSA, do not fall for it. And it's also very disrespectful that they're doing this on behalf of Pua, and some of them were actually writing stuff like, pray for Pua's peace in heaven and blah blah blah. And I thought, oh, what the fudge? Like, really?
Oh,
You're trying to scam people, and you're using Pua's name, and it's disheartening, like, leave him out of this. And why are you using some late guy's Instagram page to try to scam people? Like, the fudge? I know he's not obviously running the page by himself now, right? Because his friend is running it, but it's just so not cool. So yeah, so it's just my PSA. Just don't fall for it. Don't listen to it. Report it. I did it. I reported. I reported him as fraud and so forth. So just letting you guys know, because they actually followed our Tribunal of the Grid page as well, did the exact same thing, and I went, no, I know who you are. You're not real. Goodbye.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's thank you, because somebody who people may not know, and they may think that is a part of the thing, and it's like that's part of like the real page from Pua, and it's like, well, Pua and his friend's page, and it's like, oh no, that's not it. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, and definitely you guys, like she said, please you use good judgment and don't fall for it. All right, well, that concludes another episode of Tribunal of the Grid. My name is Brendan.
I am Lena.
I'm Will.
And we will talk to you next time. Bye.